All right, let's jump right into this explainer and unpack a profoundly misunderstood relationship dynamic. We are going to explore some truly fascinating insights from a framework called the Architect, the Desire Manifesto, or Het Verlangen Manifest in its original Dutch. Now, just a heads up, this isn't your typical everyday relationship advice. We're actually looking under the hood at the operating system of desire, how it breaks down, and most importantly, how we can systemically restore it.
Imagine typing this painful search query into Google. Why doesn't my wife want me anymore? It's absolutely heartbreaking, right? But it perfectly highlights this crushing reality of a wife who physically withdraws, even though she still genuinely loves her partner. This sets the stage for our case study today. It's this agonizing state of unresponsive love where her body just completely ceases to respond to him as a partner, leading to a profound unspoken pain for both of them.
Part 1. The cycles van verlies, or the cycle of loss. Let's look past the surface symptoms and understand the underlying mechanics of how this detachment actually takes root.
So here's the really crucial thing to understand. This is not about a lack of love, and it's definitely not about malice from either side. It's what's known as the pursuer-distancer cycle, and it is a deeply involuntary survival mechanism. The wife withdraws out of sheer exhaustion. She basically views his needs as just one more burdensome demand piled on top of everything else she's carrying. And the husband? Well, his biological programming screams at him to fix it, so he chases, he asks what's wrong. But that very pursuit only pushes her farther away, completely trapping them both in this invisible loop.
So what actually happens when you break that cycle? Check out this 28-day timeline from the Relatio case study we're looking at today. It is wild to see how attraction organically rebuilds without a single logical negotiation. It all kicks off with a shift in his nonverbal presence on day 1. By day 9, she's catching herself observing him with real attraction across the kitchen. Genuine connection and laughter, that's back by day 14. By day 21, her body instinctively starts closing the physical distance between them, leading to successful intimacy on day 28. It's like her body remembered something her mind had completely forgotten.
Part 2. Why logic it verergers. Let's dive into why logic actually makes things worse, and why conventional attempts to just talk it out completely fail. We're dealing with a massive disconnect here, what the framework calls the interface error. It's the exact same situation, but it creates two completely opposite, conflicting internal realities. His internal interface reads distance as a flashing red, danger sign for the relationship, so his gut reaction is to try harder, to fix it. But her interface reads his pursuit, all his questions and efforts, as an extra demand draining an already empty emotional reservoir, which just makes her retreat even further. He is desperately trying to close the gap while she's just experiencing suffocating pressure. You literally cannot negotiate desire using logic. It just doesn't work, and here's why. First off, desire lives way down in the limbic system, the emotional, somatic part of the brain, not the rational thinking neocortex. Secondly, asking why don't you want me acts as just another pursuit, which, as we know, triggers more distancing. And finally, it forces her into this analytical, masculine problem-solving state, all while signaling his own dependency. When he asks for reassurance, he's dialing the head, but the hotline to desire only runs through the nonverbal safety of the body. Part 3. De-energetic inversion. Let's move to the deeper architectural level and see how this builds into a total systemic collapse.
Have you ever felt like you're managing an employee instead of a partner? Yeah, that brings us to the ultimate intimacy killer, the mother/son trap. Drawing from Timothy Leary's Rose model, the framework shows us this incredibly dangerous end stage of energetic inversion. She chronically leads, manages, and structures absolutely everything, taking the above or mother position. Meanwhile, he becomes passive and dependent, slipping into the below or son position. This completely destroys polarity. It's like a captain and a sailor. They just cannot generate equal passionate tension. Intimacy dies, not by choice, but by structure. There's this incredibly powerful metaphor in the source text we absolutely need to talk about. In the archetypical dance, the masculine is the riverbank, providing structure. The feminine is the water, the flow and creation. If the banks fall away, the water threatens to overflow. To survive, she freezes. She becomes ice. Think about that. Her withdrawal into ice isn't vindictive. It's an involuntary survival mechanism. She has to become her own structure because the masculine presence faded away.
Part 4. Protocol versus the blauwdruk, or the blueprint. So, how do we fix this? We need to separate a temporary fix from a permanent rewrite of the code. While a 28-day protocol successfully treats the symptoms through an external behavioral shift, the architect framework goes way deeper. It addresses the actual root cause by consciously restoring what's called the coherent nexus. You see, a protocol is just symptom management. The man acts and the woman reacts unconsciously. But the blueprint? That is an energetic shift from within. It permanently reprograms the entire system so both partners step completely out of that mother-son trap and become conscious architects of their relationship.
Part 5. 5 Steps to Recovery. 5 Steps to Recovery. Let's break down the exact blueprint for both partners to get that flow back.
To completely reset this dynamic, there's a specific 5-step blueprint. Steps 1 and 2 are for the man. Stop chasing and reclaim your masculine core. He has to restore his presence without demanding a reaction. He basically becomes the riverbank again. Steps 3 and 4 are for the woman. Recognize the state of survival and activate the somatic interface switch. She physically shifts her nervous system away from manage and control and back down to trust and receive. And finally, step 5 is for both of them. Co-create the new dance together. That's when the polarity finally returns.
Going all the way back to our initial case study, the husband asking why his wife didn't want him anymore, the conclusion here is just striking. When he stopped trying to force the frozen river to flow, when he put down the logic and stopped trying to negotiate the ice away, and instead simply changed the temperature of his own presence, the ice melted naturally, the flow returned, completely on its own.
I want to leave you with this one huge, powerful realization from the Manifesto. Desire is not an achievement. It is a systemic response to the right conditions. You can create those conditions. That is what it means to be the architect of your own life. Desire isn't a debate, and it's not a prize you earn. It's just the natural, beautiful response you unlock when you fix the underlying structure. So I'll leave you with this question. Are you busy trying to negotiate for water, or are you ready to become the riverbank?